Welcome to the Catalyst Chronicles. I'm your host, PR, and this is our Catalyst Diary Edition for the month. This is when we get together with our journals, with our diary, and really have a moment of internal reflection. So if you're new on this platform, welcome. We do this once a month as part of our growth journey, where we slow down, take time, and really evaluate where we are, who we are, the choices that we're making, and how to continue growing in the direction that supports our future. So today we're going to reflect on a few questions. I already have my notebook. I've done some reflection already, so I'm going to share with you the questions that you're going to be reflecting on this week. And I want you to think about it as part of your internal work. This is the part of the work that it doesn't look glorifying, it doesn't feel good, and no one is going to hold you accountable but yourself, because I'm not there, right? No one is going to hold you accountable for yourself. So we're going to discuss 3 categories today. We're going to look at identity and alignment, self-worth and boundaries. Then we're going to look at becoming an impact. And these questions are designed to probe into your mind and challenge you about who you are and who you're becoming. They're not designed to have a right or wrong answer. They're designed to help you slow down, pause, and think about the direction that you're going in. So the first question is, who am I compared to who I was designed to become? And what choices have I contributed to that person? Who am I right now compared to who I was actually called, designed, created, born to become? And what choices have I made that has sponsored or contributed to that version? Number 2, what meaningful investment have I actually made into myself that reflects the future I say I want to build? So what are some of the investment that you've made into yourself, whether it's resources, time, money, whether it's financial, resource, relational, personal, whatever that investment may be? What kind of investment have you made in yourself? And does this investment contribute to the person you claim you want to become? Number 3, which of my past decisions still has an impact on me in ways I haven't acknowledged, accepted, or healed from? This question is designed to help you look at yourself in a mirror and take accountability for the things that you may be neglecting. So which of the past decisions have you made that still has an impact on you, whether negatively or positively, in ways you haven't accepted, you haven't acknowledged, or you haven't been able to move forward or healed from? Number 4, where am I right now compared to the vision I want for myself? So the first question talks about who you are. Now we're digging into where. The first one is internal. This one is more of alignment, seasonal, and placement. Where am I right now? Where am I financially? Where am I relationally? Where am I environmentally in my community? Where am I right now in comparison to the future and the vision and the goals that I have for myself? You gotta slow down this week and think about these questions and actually answer them truthfully in your journal. Next question, which of my own thinking patterns have limited me, kept me small, or delayed me? Part of growth is being able to say, okay, I used to believe this, but I no longer have to believe this, because in this season, believing this contradicts who I want to become. So which of my own thinking patterns and belief systems have kept me small, have delayed me? Which of these mindsets do I have that may have benefited me in one season, but right now it's just not beneficial for me to keep thinking that way, or for me to keep approaching life that way? Which of them are keeping me behind where I'm actually supposed to be? The next section, self-worth and boundaries. The first question under this section is, when do I choose myself? No, for real. When do you choose yourself? At what point? Whether it's from a place of a timeline or a season or a phase, but at what point do you decide to choose you? Everybody is choosing themselves, and you keep choosing everybody else but you. And I want to help you understand, come up with a timeline. If you haven't done that already, you need to set a date, literally. Starting from this day, and I hope it's today, starting from this day, I choose me. Now, I know that especially in the Christian community, when you say things like self and I choose me, people immediately demonize you and they say, oh, you're being selfish. The Bible says, listen, Jesus chose himself. I said it. He chose himself. He chose his calling. He chose his assignment. He chose his destiny. He chose his purpose. He did not care what anybody had to say, even to the point where his own disciple Peter was saying, "Oh, Lord Jesus, I don't want you to die." He rebuked him. You would think he'll be like, "You know what? Yeah, Peter, I don't want to die." He chose his assignment. He chose his purpose. When the Pharisees and the Sadducees kept harassing him about who do you think you are and who he didn't care about none of that. His truth was his truth, and his truth was lived in his assignment. The next question: when do I finally walk away from what no longer serves me? Because after you choose yourself, this is the very next thing you need to do. Walk away. When do you do that? You keep pouring into everybody. You keep recommitting into projects, activities, situations, things that literally are designed to drain the life out of you, the creativity out of you, the inspiration out of you. When do you walk away? You need to tell yourself, not me. Write it down. Read. Write it down. Meditate through it. At what point in my life do I get to walk away from the things that are killing me? Next question: why am I worthy of investment? You need to be able to tell yourself that. A different way to look at it is saying, why should you watch my videos? Why should you invest your time into my videos? The reason why you should invest your time into my videos and my platform and everything that I'm doing here at the Catalyst Chronicles is because everything that was designed on the Catalyst Chronicles was designed with you in mind. As someone who has gone through my own journey, I've been able to document what worked, what doesn't work, the mindset you need to have. And I put it all together under these different categories that is included into the Catalyst Chronicles. So the platform is designed to give you value, but even beyond that, the person that is giving you value has become that value herself. I'm not speaking from a place of inauthenticity, and I'm not speaking to you from a place of things that I've just read. This is a life I've lived. That's why I'm worth you investing your time in. That's why this platform is worth you giving your time to, because it gives you value, real tangible value that you can use to build a future that outlives your past. That's why you should invest in it. So now I want you to look at this example and put it to yourself. Don't be afraid when people, ask you, what do you bring to the table? Don't be afraid of those questions. Communicate it, articulate it. Tell yourself, I'm worthy of investing my finances in my education, my finances in my skills, my finances in my competency. I'm worth investing my time and my resources, my community, everything that I have at my advantage. I am worth it because I was created uniquely to fulfill an assignment. And I know that it is my responsibility to be the highest version of myself to execute that. That's why you're worth it, because you're unique. Why not? You need to be comfortable answering these questions for yourself so that the world and people don't force you to answering them through negative situations. Take time and answer. Why are you worth investing in? Why should you invest in yourself? And why should other people invest in you? And then the next question is, why is my growth worth pursuing? What does it mean to me to pursue my growth? Why does it matter to me if I grow, if I develop myself? It's something you need to ask yourself, because through the growth journey, it gets hard. It's a lonely road. It's not glorious. Nobody's going to clap for you, because by design, growth is designed to be personal. You're supposed to take on that responsibility and find out who you were created to be. So why is that journey worth it? I think you're worth becoming, because when you become, your world becomes better. When you become, you're no longer prey to manipulation. People can say or do things just to hurt you, just to betray you, just to manipulate you. You get to walk in your full conviction of yourself. That's why I think you're worth it. But you can't use my answer. So you got to find out for yourself, why is your growth journey? Why is it important to you? And then the last section is becoming an impact. And the first question under this section is, how do I rise to the level that I want to be from where I am? And what must shift for me to achieve that? So this is where you are, but this is where you're supposed to be, or where you want to be. How do I go from this point to this point? And what must happen in between that time for me to become that person? This is a question you have to ask yourself. This question helps you realize that there is a component of becoming and evolving that requires that things have to shift. That means you can't just keep doing the same old thing every day. there needs to be a disruption. The real truth is, growth is designed to be disruptive. There are some people that are just trying to grow in comfortability. It does not work that way. And I'm also not saying that go ahead and just uproot and upend your whole life, but be comfortable with a little bit of uncertainty. Be comfortable with a little bit of disruption. Be comfortable with a little bit of chaos, because it is in that chaos and disruption, as you're trying to solve it, is where you begin to shape who you are into the version that you were meant to be. Growth is supposed to be uncomfortable. And the quicker you find out what needs to change and shift for you to become that version, the quicker you get to the version of you that you were designed to. And then the final question: how does my evolving or my refusal to evolve affect my world? If I choose to commit to evolve, to transformation, to growth, to development, or if I choose, I'm okay where I am, I don't need nothing else, I don't want to do too much, this is good, and I don't evolve, how does it impact my world? You have to be able to answer that question. And whatever you choose, it's something that needs to be an internal grounding, and you need to be okay with that. If you evolve, you get to experience yourself at a different level you never thought was possible. Your family, your community get to see what becoming looks like. Your world becomes a bit fuller and more complete because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. This is the benefit of becoming, versus if you choose not to, which is going to be your responsibility, not mine and not God's and not anybody else. If you choose comfortability over evolving, then what is the implication of that? You get to live at a place of comfortability and averageness. Your world gets to be more chaotic because now you are out of alignment, which offsets a lot of other people and puts them out of alignment. Because God designed us to incrementally sponsor and support generations. So if I become, by doing what I'm doing and teaching these things, building your mindset, your internal processing, and recalibrating your cognitive senses, recalibrating your cognitive capacity, you get to fall in alignment and be who you're supposed to be. And then you teach the next person and the next person. But if I say no, then where does that leave you? And if you say no, where does that leave the next person? This is how you have to think about it when it comes to growth and transformation. And this month's diary session is designed to get you a bit more stability and conviction by you going through these questions. If you meditate, put some music on, instrumental, create an atmosphere of self-love, and then take time and run through these questions. And like I said, there are no right or wrong answers, right? But your answers can evolve. Meaning this month, you go through it and these are the answers that you have. Next month, go through it again. You'll be able to see that maybe your thinking has shifted. Most times when your mind is being rewired, there is no physical evidence. But the evidence can be found when you compare how you thought about these questions this month versus how you think about these questions next month. So take some time through it. Share the questions with other people. Share this platform with other people. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the things that people do when they watch a podcast and they really like it. And I'll see you here again for the next episode. Bye.